David, and today I'm going to give you a short demonstration of a presentation um, for our sports class. Um, the topic that I've chosen is the World's Strongest Man competition, a, um, a sport that I find very amusing and entertaining. Um, in this presentation, I'm going to do several things. I'm going to personalize the presentation. This is a very good strategy to bring people in and make them interested in your presentation. So I'm going to tell a little bit about myself in the presentation, even though I do not compete in the World's Strongest Man and will never compete in the World's Strongest Man competition. I can still personalize it to make the story more of a draw for people who might watch it. I'm also going to try to use some vocabulary that will be both relevant and interesting to students. So the things I want you to focus on are personalizing your presentations and using some good educational words that other students can use. And Strongest Man competition. I've known about it for probably 10 or 15 years, and I've always enjoyed watching this show. Why? If you've ever seen it, the World's Strongest Man competition is huge guys doing really ridiculous things, such as pulling trains, trucks, and boats, lifting things such as other people, giant stones, big pieces of metal. What's the point, someone might ask? Well, for me, the point is it reminds me of my childhood fascination with really great feats of strength. When I was a child, as many young American boys, I liked comic characters. I really liked Superman and Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk. I was so fascinated, when you're in elementary school and you are, just a normal child living a normal life, and you learn about these characters that are so strong. It's really exciting and fun, and it allows your fantasy life to grow. And when I got older, I would watch things like pro wrestling and Olympic sports. And I think I was always interested in sports that had to do with great physical strength. So, for example, I liked Olympic powerlifting. In my youth, in the 1970s, there was a man named Vasily Alexiev, and he was thought by many people to be the strongest man in the world. He could lift over 260 kilograms over his head. And he's the only athlete in history to hold 80 world records for different kinds of lifts. And when I was a child, I saw him on television, and they showed the weight that he could lift over his head. And it took 5 or 6 ordinary men to lift this thing that he could lift all by himself. So that was really exciting for me. And I remember discussing with my sisters, is he really the strongest man in the world? Maybe secretly there's a man in Africa or Europe or Japan who's stronger but doesn't know about the Olympics and doesn't care about the Olympics, doesn't care about showing off his strength. And my sisters are like, no, he is the strongest man in the world. You just have to accept it. They were older sisters, and I was a stubborn younger brother. But in later years, there were other interesting characters. Was Naim Suleimanoglu. I cannot really say his name, but he was a Bulgarian Turk who, though he was very small, he weighed like, 50 or 60 kilograms. He could lift like 140 kilograms over his head. So his nickname was the Pocket Hercules. So it was very exciting to watch him. And other than Olympic lifting, there are other kinds of strength athletics that people really enjoy. And it brings up the question, who really is the strongest man in the world? Right now there's an Iranian who is the best super heavyweight Olympic lifter, but there's this competition called the World's Strongest Man, and it's really interesting, and it shows great feats of strength. But it begs the question, are they really the strongest men in the world? I don't think any of them can lift 260 kilograms over their head, which Vasily Alexeyev could do back in the 1970s. However, they pull trains and lift cars and throw heavy things, so it's quite exciting. And yeah, it reminds people of their childhood fascination with strength and power. So every year the World's Strongest Man competition is held, and for 5 or 6 years it has been dominated by a Polish man named Mariusz Pudzianowski, and he has been unbeatable. And unlike Naim Suleimanoglu, the Turkish Bulgarian, or Bulgarian Turk, who is very tiny, about 150 centimeters tall, and Vasily Alexeyev and Mark Henry, who are very fat, and other strength athletes, Mariusz Pudzianowski looks like a superhero. He has such well-defined muscles. He is so huge. It is really amazing to watch him. It's like, wow, he is the Incredible Hulk or Superman in real life. So he's very dramatic for people to watch. But is he the strongest man in the world? Or is it someone who can lift one heavy thing over their head? I don't know. It's up to you to decide. He holds the title, World's Strongest Man, but he is not necessarily accepted by everyone to be the strongest man. That being said, I would not want to arm wrestle the man. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation about the World's Strongest Man, and I'll see you in class. Hi, I just finished editing the main portion of my World's Strongest Man video, and in looking at it, I realize that it is a presentation that could be even better. Using our scoring rubric, I would say my pronunciation and my projection and my body language were pretty good, but the content was a bit muddled. I wanted us to talk about personal matters as we give our presentation to make a connection with the audience. But I find that in my own presentation, there was maybe a little too much of that, so it might have been a little bit distracting for the audience, for the viewer of the video. So for my next one, I'm going to make notes and try to make it a tighter presentation. But I still think it's good for you to listen to. You learn a little bit about powerlifting and World's Strongest Man competitions. But I'm going to make a better one. Stay tuned. Take care.